Hey there, everyone. It's Steve Gruber here, and I hope your day's going well. I thought today I'd like to speak to you about keeping your sales funnel full. Obviously, if you're in sales, this is super important. And so hopefully you find your presentation, enjoyable. So, obviously, consistent pipeline is critical for sustained growth. Without new stuff coming in the funnel, it's hard to actually achieve any sort of long-term success. I think you can't be complacent. I think one of the things we see a lot of people fail on is, especially in small business, you get busy and then you stop hunting for business, right? So you have this kind of classic roller coaster where it's, you're feasting and then a famine situation. So I think what you have to do is, you've got to consistently dedicate time to ensure that doesn't happen. And again, a full funnel, mitigates the risks, right? Whether a client goes out of business, whether they change direction, whether they decide to do something different. Um, Having a full funnel helps to, mitigate some of that risk and concern. Here's some of the core strategies to maintain a sales funnel. So I think you have to dedicate regular time to prospecting. I sort of mentioned that just a few minutes ago. Motivate your sales team. So use incentives and recognition. Get them, you know, sort of tuned up and hungry. Identify and measure key activities. Obviously outbound cold calls, emails, meetings, demos are all kind of, key things that you should be keeping track of from a conversion perspective. And then I implement a sales cadence. So I think, again, if you're doing account-based B2B sales, that could be a consistent mix of emails and phone calls over months and months and months, and even could be over a year, right? Just depends on the importance of that particular client. And, every sales process is a little bit different. I think, again, where most people fall down is they make one or two phone calls or emails and they just give up. So I think if you do an account-based sales and you know this is a particularly good prospect or opportunity for you, don't ever stop calling. So the other thing too is, you have to monitor and nurture your funnel. So, definitely from a sales management end, review your pipeline health, update your strategies, focus on leads further upstream too, give them some love. Um, and you definitely have to use a CRM tool. I've said it before. I don't think you do sales today without some sort of sales CRM tool. There's too much going on. You can't remember in your head. Email and Excel are not an alternative to using a proper sales CRM tool to manage your workload. A few final tips. So stay disciplined and persistent. Your pipeline definitely depends on it. Continually evaluate, refine your lead generation tactics. Sometimes that could be more calls. Um, maybe you're doubling down on those. Maybe you're running additional campaign. Maybe you're tweaking the campaign. Maybe you're going after a very specific niche market and doing calls there. So I think always be learning, always be watching, and don't be afraid to try different things. Happy hunting. If we can be of assistance in any way, please feel free to reach out, and we wish you the best of luck.